So I just wanted to give my thoughts on the upcoming fourth round of this year's Six Nations. We're going to start off at the top with Ireland versus Italy. Now for me, Ireland have been underperforming quite a bit so far in this Six Nations. They find themselves second from bottom as well, only 1 point ahead of Italy. The only point they've gotten so far is from the draw with Wales and what was a pretty cagey and not a great match to watch. Now this match could really well decide who actually finishes bottom of the Six Nations entirely. Now conversely, Italy have been playing with a lot more attacking flair and they seem to be playing with more confidence than they normally do than in previous Six Nations. They've had the likes of Sarto, Garcia and Campagnaro forging a pretty effective attacking trio for them. Now they can also feel that Italy have been a bit unlucky. They deserve to beat France in my opinion, and were it not for a 50-50 decision they would have beaten France, I reckon. Ireland don't seem to be playing with much confidence though. Now they're going to feel a pretty much unchanged side. The only change is Jared Payne coming in, which will mean that Zebo is likely to switch to fullback and Kearney's going to go into the centres, I reckon. Now, Ireland need to dominate the scrum. They've got a really heavyweight pack. Now, the Italian pack, in my mind, is more mobile. They've got the likes of Parise in it, who's just a phenomenal ball carrier. The Ireland have, they've both got... Well, both sides have pretty veteran packs in it. And I think the breakdown here is going to be key as to who actually walks away with the win. I do see this being as an Ireland victory though, as they're going to be desperate not to finish bottom. I don't think they've ever finished bottom, and they're not going to want to be the team that, you know, the first Irish team to finish bottom of the Six Nations. Now the match is also in Dublin as well, which is going to give them an additional edge because the Dublin crowd is pretty. It will get behind the team full force. If this was in Rome, I might actually have given the edge to Italy, bearing in mind I just don't see the confidence Ireland have been playing with. Ireland will need to, if they want this win, though, Ireland are going to need to attack. They're going to need to use the high ball, which the Italians are not always great under, and they're going to need to take a few more risks in it and not just try and rely on the forwards to roll them towards the line. They're going to need to ship it out to the wingers. They've got some good wingers. I mean, I've always been a big fan of Zebo, for example. So that's how I see the Ireland versus Italy game going on. Now, moving on to England versus Wales. This is the key fixture, certainly of this weekend, but I would say of the whole tournament. This is basically could decide who's going to walk away with the Six Nations. Now, England currently lead the tournament with 3 wins from 3, and they're looking confident. They're playing good, solid rugby. Wales are 1 point behind them after with their draw with Ireland and subsequent wins over the French and the Scots. Now, England definitely have the confidence going with them, and they're going to start they're going to name an unchanged side from the one that beat Ireland. Now, if England win, they're pretty much guaranteed to win the Six Nations. It would take something pretty epic for them not to win it at this point. Now, Manu Tuilagi is going to return to the bench for England. Now, look for him to be brought on with about 20 minutes or so to go and try and really punch some holes in that Welsh defence, which he's very good at. He'll need to keep his discipline through his game, though. Now, for Wales, the starting 15 will remain unchanged for England, and Wales have been solid together. Unexciting, I would say, but solid. They've had good form, especially against England recently with their win against them in the World Cup, which was quite a convincing win. And this is going to suit, you know, the lack of changing is going to suit them. They've been scrummaging really well, and Dan Bigg has really been filling in with the boot well in the absence of Lee Halfpenny. Now, Wales are going to they're going to really need to up their game against England, like they did against Scotland. If they want to win this. Now, England have been looking good defensively as well. Wales need to get their confidence back. They've been relying, in my opinion, too much on the likes of Jamie Roberts to just try and barge a hole through the defence. England have got some heavyweight players. They're less likely to be bullied aside than the Scottish back line, which is a little bit more lightweight than this. For me, though, I see this as an England win. They're playing at home. They're going to have the Twickenham crowd behind them, and they're going to sense their first Grand Slam in a long time, so they're going to need this. They will need to keep their discipline, though. I'm getting annoyed of seeing England giving away too many needless penalties in kickable positions. It's a habit they got into a while ago. I don't like it. They need to get out of it if they want to secure this. Otherwise, Bigger's going to make them pay for it. We're going to move on to the final game, and a bit of a it's a Scotland versus France, and normally I would always normally pick this. Oh well, France are going to win this one, but Scotland have been impressive with me. They've gotten a bit unlucky for me in recent times. They've not played bad rugby, and the French have been really unimpressive, with the sole exception to that would have been their win against Ireland. Now, France do sit third in the table. I don't know how that's happened. I've just been so annoyed with how they play. I used to love French rugby. I used to play some great backs. I've gone on a rant on a previous video about this, and I'm going to go on another one now. The French backs are rubbish at the moment. With the sole exceptions, I've been impressed with Vakatawa, and Tranduc's really changed games when he's been on. Now, the French don't look like they've been playing as a team at all, and they just don't seem to know what's going on the pitch. They just don't seem to have a game plan or any cohesion. Scotland, on the other hand, as a team, I've been really impressed with them. They've played really well. They've been great under the high ball, and their backs have performed exceptionally well. They've always had decent forwards, and now their backs are stepping up to the mark. The likes especially of Tommy Seymour, who's been phenomenal under the high ball, and Greg Laidlaw's been dictating the breakdowns in the back of the scrum really well. The forwards are going to need to ensure that they win the breakdown, though, and they're going to need to get quick balls out to the backs, because I think if the Scots can run at a disorganised French backline, they'll break through it. If the French backline have time to organise, though, they've got good defensive capabilities, and I think they'll be able to contain the Scottish. Bearing in mind this match is in Edinburgh, though, and the French just seem to have forgotten how to attack entirely, and they have no backline, I'm going to give this as actually a close-fought win to Scotland. Close-fought, though. This is going to be a bit of a battle, and don't put it past the French to make this an absolute attritional war. That's how I see the next round of Six Nations going. Be interested to see what anyone else thinks about this. Stick your name down, stick a comment down. Hope to hear from you guys soon.